In this video, I'll explain how to first write a chemical equation and then balance it using the first problem on the equation writing and balancing practice worksheet. So before we balance, we just have to worry about writing all the formulas properly in the chemical equation. Then once you're done with that, you can balance it at the end. So if we go down to number 1, it says lithium solid reacts with oxygen gas. So those are my two reactants. You can go ahead just by writing the symbols for each of those. Lithium solid reacting with, so plus sign, and oxygen gas. Now remember, whenever there's just elements by themselves, you have to decide if they should have the little subscript of 2. Lithium doesn't, but oxygen does, so we have to make it O2. It also explains that lithium is a solid, so I'm going to put a parenthesis S after lithium, and that oxygen is a gas, so I'm going to put parenthesis G after O2, and that completes my reactants. The next words I read are to produce, which means I'm going to put the reaction arrow, followed by the one product, which is lithium oxide. Now for lithium oxide, which is two elements chemically bonded together, you have a little bit more work to do because it's ionic. Lithium's a metal, oxygen is a nonmetal. So to write this properly, you have to check the charges and see if you need any subscripts. Lithium is a +1, oxygen's a -2, so the correct formula should be Li2O. Once you've got the full equation written, then you can go balance the equation. If it helps you at this point, you can put some lines in front of each formula to remind yourself that that's where we're going to be balancing by putting in the big numbers called coefficients. So for the balancing, I'll switch to green, and remember the process for this is just to check each atom one at a time and count how many you have. So my lithium is my first atom and there's 1 here, but on the products side of the reaction there's 2, which does not balance, so I add a coefficient or a big number of 2 so that the lithiums are 2 on each side. And then do the same for the next atom. In this case, oxygen has 2 in the reactants, only 1 in the products, which doesn't balance, so I have to put a big number or coefficient of 2 so that now I have 2 oxygens on both sides. You might also notice that this big 2 also doubles my lithium, so there's no longer 2 lithiums in the products, there's now 2 times 2 or 4. That means this original coefficient of 2 that I put out front has to be erased and changed to a 4 so that the lithiums balance also, making the final balanced equation 4 lithiums, 1 oxygen turns into 2 lithium oxides.